On July 30th, 2025, President Trump sent shockwaves through South Asia with two dramatic and unexpected announcements that reverberated across the globe. The world watched as the US president, never one to shy away from bold moves, once again placed himself at the center of international attention. First, he unveiled a new US-Pakistan trade agreement focused on developing Pakistan's oil reserves, an unexpected move that signaled renewed American interest in Islamabad. The deal promises billions in investment and technology transfer, aiming to unlock Pakistan's untapped energy potential and boost its struggling economy. For Pakistan, this agreement could mark the beginning of a new era of economic cooperation with the United States, offering hope for job creation and infrastructure development. Just hours earlier, Trump had announced a sweeping 25% tariff on all Indian imports, effective August 1st. The move stunned Indian exporters and sent shockwaves through global markets, threatening to disrupt billions of dollars in annual trade. Indian businesses, already grappling with global economic uncertainty, now faced a sudden and steep barrier to their largest export market. The contrast was stark: a diplomatic olive branch to Pakistan and a punitive blow to India, America's longtime Indo-Pacific partner. While Islamabad celebrated the prospect of closer ties, New Delhi was left reeling, its diplomats scrambling to respond to what many saw as a dramatic reversal in US policy. These twin moves upended the established US-India-Pakistan dynamic, challenging years of deepening US-India ties and transactional US-Pakistan relations. The region, long accustomed to a delicate balance, now faced the prospect of shifting alliances and new uncertainties. Trump's actions force a fundamental question. Is this a short-term tactic designed to gain leverage, or the beginning of a major shift in American strategy towards South Asia? Analysts and policymakers alike debated the long-term implications, searching for clues in Washington's recent moves. For Pakistan, it's a potential economic lifeline and a chance to strengthen its global standing. For India, a test of its strategic autonomy and its relationship with Washington. Both countries now face critical decisions about their future paths and partnerships. The sudden calculated sequence has injected new volatility into an already tense region, raising fears of economic instability and diplomatic fallout. Regional leaders are on high alert, bracing for the ripple effects of America's dramatic pivot. The aftershocks of this geopolitical shakeup will be felt for years as South Asia and the world adjust to a new and unpredictable chapter in US foreign policy. At its heart, Trump's deal with Pakistan is an ambitious energy partnership, one that could reshape the relationship between the two countries for years to come. The core of the agreement is simple. US investment and technical expertise will be used to unlock Pakistan's vast, largely untapped oil reserves, bringing American know-how to the heart of Pakistan's energy sector. While the fine print remains under wraps, the intent is unmistakable. American companies are being positioned to lead what could be a major energy boom in Pakistan, with the potential to reshape the country's economic landscape. This marks a sharp break from the decades of security-focused aid and military cooperation that have defined US-Pakistan ties, signaling a new era where economic interests take center stage. The groundwork for this deal was laid quietly, with months of back-channel negotiations and hints of a major breakthrough surfacing only days before the official announcement. For Pakistan, the stakes could not be higher. Energy self-sufficiency has long been a national goal, and this deal promises not just new jobs, but the possibility of transforming entire communities. A successful partnership could inject billions into Pakistan's struggling economy, boost investor confidence, and help stabilize the country's finances. But there are big questions that could determine whether this deal is a game-changer or just another headline. Are Pakistan's oil reserves truly as large and accessible as claimed, or are the projections overly optimistic? Can these resources be developed safely without environmental disaster, and can they be brought to market at a profit? The venture's success depends not just on what's underground, but on the ability to extract it efficiently and responsibly. And, crucially, on Pakistan's ability to provide a stable, secure environment for the massive influx of foreign investment and technology that will be required. If it works, the deal could transform Pakistan's fortunes, fueling new industries, uplifting millions, and redefining the country's place in the global economy. If not, it risks becoming another overhyped promise, leaving behind dashed hopes and wasted resources. But for now, one thing is certain. Islamabad has scored a major diplomatic win, putting itself at the center of a high-stakes global energy story. The US-Pakistan oil project will be a public-private partnership, with a major American oil company leading the charge. Advanced technology and teams of US geologists will conduct seismic surveys to pinpoint potential oil fields. The US government will back the effort, negotiating terms, providing risk insurance, and smoothing regulatory hurdles. For American firms, it's a high-stakes bet on a new frontier. Pakistan must ensure security, streamline permits, and coordinate closely with US partners. Success hinges not just on finding oil, but on overcoming legal, security, and bureaucratic obstacles. Both sides have much to gain, but also much to lose if the project falters. Trump's announcement wasn't just about oil, it was a geopolitical message. He quipped, "Maybe they'll be selling oil to India someday," a line aimed squarely at New Delhi. The remark dangled a future where India might rely on Pakistani oil, developed with US help, subtly highlighting India's energy vulnerabilities. It was also a warning: align with US interests, or face new regional realities. For India, the idea is politically toxic, but the message is clear. Washington is willing to reshape the region's energy map. The US is positioning itself as the power broker in South Asia, reminding India it has options. Trump's comment is psychological pressure, not policy, but it forces India to rethink its energy and diplomatic strategies. The subtext: America can reward or isolate depending on who plays ball. Trump justified the 25% tariff on Indian imports by citing the trade deficit and India's ties with Russia. He's long railed against countries with trade surpluses, calling India's barriers obnoxious. But the real target is India's continued purchase of Russian oil and arms, which Washington sees as undermining sanctions on Moscow. The tariffs are economic leverage, punishing India for defying US policy and signaling that trade and geopolitics are now inseparable. Analysts call it economic warfare, using tariffs to force India to choose between cheap Russian oil and its US partnership. Announcing the tariffs alongside the Pakistan deal maximizes pressure, rewarding one neighbor while punishing another. The message: comply with US demands or pay the price. The risk: this could set a precedent for using trade as a weapon in global politics. For India, the squeeze is both economic and psychological. India's response has been resolute, anchored in strategic autonomy. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar insists India will buy oil from whoever offers the best price, prioritizing national interest over foreign pressure. Cheap Russian crude has helped India manage inflation and keep its economy stable. Abandoning it for more expensive alternatives would be politically and economically untenable. India's stance is rooted in decades of non-alignment, now evolved into multi-alignment, balancing ties with all major powers. Giving in to US demands would be seen as surrendering sovereignty. The Indian strategic community is concerned but united. India must not buckle, or it risks further interference in its affairs. The plan: weather the storm, explain its position diplomatically, and diversify partnerships to reduce future vulnerability. The tariffs sting, but India is determined to stand its ground. The world is watching how New Delhi navigates this test. Ironically, this crisis comes after a decade of booming US-India defense ties. India has bought over $12 billion in American military hardware, aircraft, helicopters, drones, and more, diversifying away from Russian arms. These deals were seen as pillars of a growing strategic partnership. Now, Trump's punitive measures feel like a betrayal, ignoring India's shift toward US technology. For New Delhi, the criticism stings. It's invested heavily in the relationship, only to be penalized for not moving fast enough. The trust deficit is real, and it complicates future cooperation. The question: can the partnership survive this shock? The US has dangled the F-35 stealth fighter before India, hoping to cement defense ties. But India remains cautious, concerned about cost, US oversight, and compatibility with its Russian-heavy fleet. India is also developing its own fifth-generation fighter, the AMCA, as part of its push for defense self-reliance. The current diplomatic chill makes a big-ticket F-35 deal unlikely. Trust is in short supply, and India is wary of undermining its domestic industry. For now, the F-35 offer is on the table, but India is keeping its options open. The focus is on indigenous development and diversifying suppliers. Trump's dual moves have dramatically redrawn the strategic landscape of South Asia, sending shockwaves through the region's political corridors and forcing leaders to rethink their alliances and priorities. The US-Pakistan oil deal, coupled with the imposition of tariffs on Indian goods, signals a sharp pivot in American foreign policy, one that is increasingly transactional, unpredictable, and at times overtly coercive. Washington is now leveraging economic tools to extract concessions, making it clear that old loyalties are no longer guaranteed. The US-India partnership, once celebrated as a cornerstone of regional stability and a defining alliance for the 21st century, is now under immense strain. Both sides are grappling with mistrust and diverging interests, as the foundation of their cooperation is tested like never before. Trust between Washington and New Delhi has eroded, casting a shadow over future trade agreements and defense collaborations. The uncertainty is palpable, with both nations questioning the reliability of their partnership. For Pakistan, the new oil deal offers a much-needed economic lifeline and a chance for national revival. Yet it also brings the risk of being drawn deeper into the complex web of great power rivalry, potentially reducing Islamabad to a pawn in a larger geopolitical chess match. The entire region is now on edge. Old rivalries between India and Pakistan are reigniting, while new tensions simmer beneath the surface. The fragile peace that once held is now threatened by shifting allegiances and unpredictable moves. America's attempt to play Pakistan against India could further destabilize the delicate balance of power in South Asia, increasing the risk of miscalculation and unintended escalation. India now stands at a critical crossroads. Should it yield to mounting US pressure, or should it double down on its policy of multi-alignment and strategic autonomy, forging its own path in an increasingly multipolar world? The decisions made by South Asian leaders in the coming months will not only determine the fate of their own nations, but will also shape the broader future of Asia for years to come. As the world watches with bated breath, a new era of uncertainty and transformation is dawning in South Asia, one that will demand resilience, adaptability, and bold leadership from all involved.